Hey guys, welcome back to our real love scenario. Real love scenario.
Ooh, yeah.
Back with another week, and we're excited. Rhonda, how are you doing? We actually, for those who are listening, you can't see us, but we look really good today.
Okay.
We do.
Okay, go ahead on the YouTube and get with it.
We did. We did.
We
look
doing our
good.
thing today.
You know,
we did. We came from a little outing.
We did to support our great friend.
Yes, Damona. Don't call me white girl.
Yes.
Who hosted a comedy event tonight. So that was fun.
Yeah.
We had a good time.
I'm in Baltimore all the time now. It's crazy.
Y'all just need to get a little spot here.
Don't know about that.
Okay, well, it's fine. No pressure.
Maybe somewhere in the middle. But
no pressure.
I don't know about all the way here, but but like I said, Baltimore's been good to me.
Yes, I'm doing good though.
Yeah.
I'm doing great.
How was your Thanksgiving?
Oh, it was not great.
Oh wow. Oh yeah.
I was sick. Yeah, I was home alone.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you didn't even do the stuff with your mom at all? Nothing?
No.
Oh,
I
wow.
was too sick to be around my mom. And my mom does not play. Like, even if it's not COVID, she does not care. She's like, you Jeremy, you gotta be alone
in a few weeks.
Yes, for sure. So, and I also just wouldn't want to go around her and make her sick.
Yeah.
Or anyone. So Wednesday I woke up and it was just like, nope, you are not. And Tuesday I was fine. Like I had no light symptoms on Tuesday. Wednesday morning, it came over me like a ton of bricks. And I worked on Wednesday, but by the time I was finished, whole body just shut down. Like I was exhausted. I was in bed by like 8:30.
So it was just Ink and Miracle breathing in the fumes. At
Correct.
That point.
And they are just fine. They're doing well. they don't seem to be
For
sick
those who
at
don't
all.
know, those are Rhonda's dogs.
Yes, those are my
Slash
babies.
children.
Yes, those are my
Children.
babies. They held me
kids.
down, but shout out to all of my friends who offered to bring me stuff. My sister who sent me a pan of my favorite macaroni and cheese that she makes, and I cooked myself a little dinner. It was fine.
That's awesome.
But it wasn't what I expected.
I can see that.
Yes. How was your Thanksgiving?
My Thanksgiving was good. Ironically, my mom caught COVID, so she canceled Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving at her house, 7 a.m. Was like, hey, so I took a test just to be sure I have COVID. Sorry, guys. So so we couldn't go over there, but not luckily, but I always have like my dad's side of the family and my mom's side of the family. So we always start at my mom's house and then I go to my aunt and uncle's house, which is my dad's side of the family. So they still had their Thanksgiving, and my cousin, who normally cooks all the time, she was in Japan for like 3 years, and now she was back. So she like did a whole spread: macaroni and cheese, deviled eggs, lamb chops, turkey. Like everything was.
It's the lamb chops for me. I love when people cook things that aren't the normal
Traditional,
beans, potatoes, tomatoes. Do some other stuff. I appreciate that.
Nah, lamb chops were banging, and then like a rum cake. It was just, it was really good.
Damn, she gonna be here next year?
I hope so.
Let me know. I'm available.
May run it back Christmas.
Yeah, let me know. I'm available.
But we hope everybody had a great time over the holidays and that you enjoyed spending time with your family and friends, and truly a time, even though I don't know if the inception was really about,
it wasn't.
It was a little.
It wasn't.
We're
calling this a day of thanks.
But I hope you give thanks to everything for everything that you're thankful for. I'm thankful for you and for this platform that we built and the opportunities and great things that we have ahead. But,
absolutely.
all the listeners, I hope you enjoyed it. And also, I haven't said this recently. Please leave us a review.
Yes.
Because I feel like we were doing great. Shout out to all the real lovers.
Y'all showing off now.
Real lovers, I mean, they go hard for us, the real lovers for sure. And we were at going at a good pace. And now, let me see, we kind of capped out on Apple at like 150.
Come on, y'all.
We can get it 2.
We can get to 200.
Give me 200. That's all I want.
Tell a friend to tell a friend. You wrote the review, be like, look, it only took me 2 seconds.
It's the holidays. Go take your friend's phone, your little niece's phone, because now kids got iPhones now.
Yeah.
And just, take it, go to the podcast. They wouldn't even know what happened.
Not at all. Easy peasy. I'm with Dre.
Yeah.
Just in case you didn't know. I'm with Dre. What he said.
Means a lot to us.
Yes, please.
But let's get into it. Let's first start with our real life name generator, Rhonda. What have you decided on at this point?
Name generator Rhonda is ridiculous. Name generator. I think we're going to go with real life scenario.
Real life scenarios.
I like it.
Okay.
Yes.
Real life scenarios.
Real life scenarios.
Okay. So what we're going to talk about today, as you guys know, there's this lady. Don't know if you ever heard of her.
Okay.
Her name's Michelle Obama.
Oh yes, I've heard of her.
Ring a bell a little bit?
Yes.
Yo, that's funny. It was funny. This is a sidebar, but I was watching something with Kevin Hart. You know who Stephen A. Smith is? He's
Yes.
like, and he told Stephen A. Smith was telling the story how people was coming up to him, and he was like, "You are not famous." He was like, "You're snap finger famous. You're what's that guy's name? I know what's his name?
And that's what I just
From that thing
jokingly did about Michelle Obama.
Snap finger famous. They
Yes,
don't know you.
she's
They just
absolutely not snap finger famous.
Not at all.
No, not by a long shot. We
Not
love
at all.
her. That is my first lady on period. I
only
like
one
Jill,
we know and recognize.
but girl, it's Michelle for me.
Yes. But we're going to talk about a post that she made. Rhonda, do you mind reading it? Do you have it up?
I don't mind. Yeah, I will jump to it. I thought it was very telling and interesting. So let's share. She says, as an adult, I've lived in a number of places, but as far as I'm concerned, I've only ever had one real home. My home is my family. My home is Barack. I want a home.
For those who
sorry.
don't know, she's married to Barack Obama.
Yes. But here's the thing. Our marriage has never been perfectly 50-50. One of us is always needing more or giving more. We have to be willing to listen to each other honestly and without defensiveness. Only then can we evolve together. Over the years, a lot of young people have asked me about marriage, and my response usually goes something like this. You have to prepare yourself for long stretches of discord and discomfort. You have to learn how to make real compromises in the way you've lived as an individual. Glamorizing a relationship while you're dating will lead you straight to difficulty once you're married. You can't paper over problems when you're living with someone day in and day out. So you've got to ask yourself, what are you trying to get out of this relationship? Have you truly thought it through? Do you want a wedding or do you want a lifelong partnership? Those are two very different things.
Yes.
So,
What do you think about that?
I mean, as a person who's unmarried and never been married, I thought it was really valuable advice.
Yeah.
And it's advice that I've certainly heard before. And her and Barack have been married for, Jesus, I think almost 30 years, like over 20 years. I thought it was great advice. Now, I have been in relationships and I agree that it's never perfectly 50-50. Somebody's always needing more
For sure.
or less. I agree with that. I think the only part that was a little concerning was you have to prepare yourself for long stretches of discord and discomfort. I know for a fact any relationship is going to have discord and discomfort, not even just marriages, any relationship. 9 times out of 10, you're going to have some challenges. But long stretches is just like, how are we defining long? And like when you say discord and discomfort, is it like that all day for those stretches of time? Like, so it's long a year, and then that whole year we are uncomfortable and at odds and just not in a good spot. That's scary. I mean, I feel like in all transparency, that's a little scary for me, that we would be in a bad place for a significant amount of time. And because your vows say, like, for better or worse, till death do you part. Oh, Lord. Like, it's a lot to consider when thinking about marriage and a lifelong partnership, because I certainly want that. I want a wedding and a lifelong partnership, but my partnership is more important than my wedding. So I don't know. That part was interesting for me. What did you think about it?
I completely agree. I think that the 50%, like I tell this to Brie all the time, like everything isn't 50-50.
Yeah.
It will all balance itself out. Like fairness, all those things. Everything in a partnership relationship balance itself out.
Yeah.
And there'll be times to where you'll have to support me more. There'll be times I have to support you more. There'll be times to where you'll be doing more because you're better at that thing, and there'll be times I'll be doing more because I'm better at that thing.
Yeah.
I believe in relationships, people leading specific areas. If you're better than somebody at that, if you as a woman are better than me at finances, you should help lead that space because you know more than me. But when it comes to the discomfort thing, I think sometimes when you enter in a partnership, somebody who's your partner may go along with something that you want to do, but that doesn't make it easy for them to go through it, you know? And I think when I think of their particular situation, I know, and I've read a few of Obama's books, and always wondered, especially as I got into a relationship, like how's Michelle doing with this? Because they had kids, they had Sasha and Malia, they had,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and I think it's tough in their situation because you have this man who you probably, well, I'll say this a lot of times too in relationships. A lot of things that you love about the person are also the things that cause issue in the relationship too.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that, like, for me, it's like I love Bree's spontaneity and how funny she is and how open she is. But that also drives me crazy when it comes to certain things that I'm like, you got to think logically.
Yeah.
And I see that happen throughout a relationship. So I think that she probably loved Barack for his ambition and his wanting to do good for people and all these different things. But it probably also drives her crazy because it's like, well, I understand your ambition and the things you want to do, but we got a whole family here. We got bills to pay. We got student loans and volunteering at this thing right here ain't paying the bills or supporting you through an election is getting you home at 11 o'clock at night, or sometimes you're on the road and you're not here. We got 2 kids and I'm here by myself.
Yes, I know and funny enough, you're like speculating, but that's actually true.
Yeah.
She has candidly and very honestly talked about him deciding to run for president she was not with it. She was not for that at first. Like, boy, what? Are you crazy? Like, no.
I told you I read the books, and that's because he ran for Senate. Like, he ran for Chicago legislation for a while. Like, he won and then lost or lost and then won. And then think of her. She's like, okay, you won. Cool. Now he has bigger ambitions. I want to run for U.S. Senate. And she's like, another election?
Right.
And this is even bigger. And then when he ran for the Senate, they were finally like, okay, you're a senator, making good money.
Yeah.
Things are good. Like, we're solid.
She still got to do her thing. Yeah. She still got to be the lawyer that she was being and all.
We're still making money. We're making great money, starting to knock out these student loans. Like, let's just stay here for a little while. Like, you're in the Senate. I think that's 4 years. I think either 2 or 4. But you have some stability there in the Senate. And then I think it was a year in the Senate or so, president. And it's like, yo. And the thing is that, like, for some people, certain positions in life can seem glamorous, but for her, it's like you would think, oh, first lady is amazing and all these perks. And I'm sure that there are moments in that to where she enjoyed it.
Of course.
And, loved the experience to a certain extent. But there had to be times of discomfort because that was not her dream. That was not what she wanted. That was her in a marriage supporting him.
Yes.
And I think sometimes people have to look at the difference between when you're in partnership with somebody, when it comes to like 50-50, you have to look at the difference between partnership and like career. Yeah. While though it may like seem like he was doing more in his career, in the actual partnership, she was probably doing more.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But people look at it and be like, oh, he's the president and you got it. But it's like, okay, yeah, in his career, he has a lot on his plate. But when you talk about me and you, when it comes to this partnership, who's giving more to this partnership at what time and our responsibilities, I'm giving a lot more.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. Like literally so much more that I'm sure there were times where she very much did not necessarily feel married. Although I am married, like you're not here. Like you're not just at the office. Like, no, you actually running the whole country that we live in. Like you can't be here. Like, and we live where you work. Like the White House is truly the house, but it's also the office. It is everything. So it's like people can just come in here and get you and take you out of here, like out of our quarters, out of our house, and just be like, you got to get on a call or something's going on in this country or something's going on. So I'm sure it was, and as she said very candidly, it was very difficult to be in that role, especially as an ambitious career woman who is very accomplished in her own rights, to give up what you had worked very hard on to support him.
Yeah, or somebody who's just a private person. A lot of people don't want that limelight, and and they often say that the people who don't want it are the people who are best suited for it, right?
Yeah.
But it's like having somebody all up in your business, having somebody talk about your hair and how you wear it and why you wear it that way, and it's like
that hatred.
It's all that spotlight on you. That can be just difficult, and especially when you know that wasn't your ambition or dream. You're being supportive of the person that you're with.
So true.
So I can understand how that you know,
represented like a long stretch.
Can weigh on you and represent a long stretch for her. But I also, like I said, going back to what I said in partnership, how, you know, it can really just weigh on you as a person. And although you agree with what your partner is saying that they want to do, that doesn't mean there won't be discomfort. There won't be moments of frustration. There won't be moments that I lash out and like yell and be like, why am I doing this? Like that's part of the road of just as of being on, you know, that road with your partner. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's not saying that you're not there to support, but you're going to have moments to where you question it. I mean, even for me owning a business, and I've called you sometimes, it's like entrepreneurship is great. 90% of the time I love it, but sometimes that 10% where I'm like,
oh, put me back
after this, like I'm done. I'm looking for a job. I'm about to go fill out an application right now. I'm done with it. I'm done. I'm done.
It's a lot of responsibility.
It's a lot of responsibility.
It's a lot of responsibility. And be clear when I said that, it's like a little interesting for me. It's not that I don't expect that, because even though you're on a journey together, you're still two individual people that have your own individual goals that you hope, like you said, your partner will support. But I think even in the midst of discomfort or discord, as long as that's not the totality of our relationship during that time, like, okay, using Michelle and Barack as a perfect example really quickly. Yes, you're pursuing presidency, you get into the White House. Like, I don't really want to be here, but we do still have good times. Like, we are still having dinner together. We are still having jokes and having some time to ourselves, or we still get to giggle and laugh at the kids or with the kids, or we do still get to do fun things. Or now we like meeting people that we never would have thought we would have met. Like Jay-Z over here just talking to us like we friends. And 2 years ago, I was just a regular lawyer in Chicago. Like there are some fun perks and greatness to this. And that's all I'm saying. Like when I first read it, I was like, damn, like, and I think it's also because I put on it what I know to be true of some people that I know, where it's like, no, like y'all haven't liked each other at all for 6 years and you're still married. Like every day for 6 years, it basically sucks. And y'all are like, well, you know, this is what marriage is all about. And I'm like, I don't think so. I don't think every day for 10 years or 5 years or 2 years is supposed to be bad. Not every single day. So it was great advice. Yeah. It was great advice. And I think everybody's marriage obviously looks different and works differently, but I just don't want to be in a marriage where I have to prep myself to like dislike you for years. Yeah,
I think it's more of, I think in their situation, which is probably the difference in how you should deal with these situations, is it was more situational than it was like her. I'm thinking probably not loving him or liking him. It was just more situational. If our situation was different, I would be happier. Versus like, I feel like some people don't like the person that they're with. Like they just can't stand them. They get on their nerves. And then it's like, yeah, that's an issue if you don't like somebody for 4 or 5 years. Yes. But if you don't like the situation that you're in, then, you know, that's a little bit more understandable and that can cause issues between you two. So
for sure. For sure. Thanks, Auntie Shell.
Shout out to y'all.
Love you.
Hopefully one day.
Yes.
We're going to speak it. Let's manifest
Please. This. We would love to have you and our forever president.
Yes.
Oh, that would be so.
We're going to have the Obamas on here.
It's going to happen.
We're going to have them on here. Manifesting that.
It's just happening. Just like that.
Yep.
We said it from our
Wherever
lips to
they want us to come to, we will be there.
Look, where the cameras at?
Wherever.
We there.
Wherever you need
whatever
us to
day, whatever location, we'll be there. Don't worry about it. We'll take the test. We'll go to the background because, you know, they permanently. Yep. No problem. I was at the White House with y'all before. You don't remember me. It's okay. But I can get through. I'm just telling you that to tell you that I can come and talk to y'all.
Yes, we can.
Background's clear. Everything's fine.
Everything's good.
Yes. Okay. So let's get into this week's scenario.
All right.
This person wants to be anonymous.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. Emphasize it. No problem, love. Okay. It says, I've been married for over 5 years, but less than 10. And this is the second marriage for myself and my husband. We are in our 40s. My husband spends just about every second of the day on his phone. We both work full time with weekends off. He's not doing one specific thing on his phone. He's just on social media or YouTube or whatever. He's on his phone doing what he enjoys doing. I feel he's emotionally unavailable, but we also don't have sex. I've been in therapy for some time now to get myself together due to depression and anxiety. I was never like this before we got together. I was a very confident and self-sufficient individual, not so much anymore. I feel lonely, sad, ugly at times, rejected, and unloved. My love language is touch, and I'm never touched by my husband. I don't know what to do. In the past, he has cheated, but not physically that I know of. Talking inappropriately to women online and also showing explicit videos of himself online to women. I've been doing things that he asked of me to strengthen our marriage, but once things are getting better, they really aren't. Things just seem to continue as if I don't exist. Minus all of that, he financially takes care of us, and our future seems great. I'm so confused, and I'm not sure what to do. Anonymous, thank you for writing in.
Thank you for writing in.
We really appreciate it.
You have a place you want to start here, or?
I just want to say that I feel like this is such a perfect scenario in conjunction with what we just talked about with Michelle Obama's post about marriage and these stretches of time where things are uncomfortable. And I don't really know exactly where to begin, because there's several issues here. There's infidelity. There is neglect on the husband's part, from him always being on his phone to them not having sex. And then there's also her being in therapy and all these things. So it's so many places to go. So I literally don't know where to begin here. I feel really bad for her.
Yeah.
Really bad.
So a few things with this. I know that sometimes there could be a disconnect. And I know that from being in a relationship and being married, that sometimes you can have different perspectives or outlooks on what's actually happening.
Of course.
Like, even with her saying every single second he's on his phone.
Right.
I'm sure it's not every single second, but even if she communicates it to him in that way, to her view and her perspective, it seems like he's always on his phone all the time. To him, he may not even think that he's on his phone that much.
Sure.
It's just that sometimes there could just be a disconnect. There's been plenty of times where Bree was like, every time you do this, and I'm like, that may have happened 4 times this year. But you say every time I do this, then this happens. And it's like, it's not every time, but you just look at it differently. Or whenever you are ready to do something, it may pop up in your head and there may be an issue, and you equate that to always happening all the time. So I think that that's one thing is first, them identifying like how much is on his phone, what is always on his phone, what is that. But from what I think the underlying theme here is there seems to be a level of comfortability that he has. And I guess we could talk about this, that a lot of times, and I see from talking to women, some women who have kids, some women who are married, that if a man is providing and doing that well, and you are benefiting from the fruits of his labor, sometimes he sees that as being enough. And especially if you are in a position where a lot of what he does support your lifestyle, it's almost as if, how dare you complain, or like, what are you really complaining about?
Right. Everything you want is taken care of.
Or if you want to complain about me, how about I start taking stuff away and let's see how you do with that. It's like, you want me to be all up in your face. You want me to do this. You want me to do that. This is how I relax. I like to look at my phone. I like to do this. Like, let me relax. I'm taking care of everything. You don't seem to have an issue with me doing X, Y, and Z when you swiping that card or you doing that thing. So I feel like that seems to be a theme sometimes with some men, that once they feel like they provide, they feel like, that they deserve a certain level, a certain pass, if you will. Yeah. And I think to a certain extent that could be a thing. But what's your thoughts on that? Do you feel like that there is something to that, to where if you are providing, that you should, with that balance of 50-50, that if you're providing in this way, that there's certain responsibilities and obligations shouldn't necessarily be on you?
No, I don't. And I mean, I think obviously every relationship is designed differently, and whatever y'all agree to, cool. But I think deciding who takes care of the finances or does the heavy lifting, like she's saying, he basically pays for everything. that is a choice and a decision that you guys made. And I think that is its own category to some degree. Like, you pay for these things, you take care of our household financially because you can, because you want to. Now, if there are things that you would like in this relationship, you would like for me to do, you would like for me to show up doing more often or whatever, those are separate. That is not, you get that because you pay the bills. You get that because I love you and I chose you and this is what you're asking for and I want to accommodate you. You don't get that because you paid the mortgage or because you pay all of the bills. I do think it's partnership. And so, yes, obviously you have to do something to participate in your relationship. You can't just be like, well, he paying all the bills and I get to just do nothing. But I think when you start almost putting a monetary value on how you show up in your relationship, I think that's just a dangerous, very, very slippery slope. Because what happens if he can't? What happens if something happens and he can't pay the mortgage? Are you then now like, well, when you were paying the mortgage, that's when I cooked every night. Well, you don't pay the mortgage no more, so I'm not doing that anymore. I think it's like you paying for services within your own relationship. And I think inherently, yes, that is what is sometimes happening. But I wouldn't make that like a front-facing thing, like, oh, he pays the bills, so I'm going to let him be on his phone for 6 hours, 8 hours out of the day when he's at home with us. Nah, I'm not. You paying the bills is its own thing. It's in its own category that I love, appreciate, I'm thankful for, all the things.
Yeah.
But when you are doing things I don't like, that's not going to make me not address it with you because you pay the bills.
So I see this from two ways. So I'm not saying I disagree. I agree with you to a certain extent, but I think that there's a certain level of a way of approaching and having conversations, or a way of approaching someone who is actually the breadwinner to the point that they're paying for everything or supplying everything, right? Because I don't care what anybody says, your relationship could be great, everything could be cool, but money makes the world go round. If you don't have money, you won't be able to take vacations, you won't be able to go to dinners, you won't be able to live in the house, you won't be able to have a cell phone, a bill,
nothing.
Like, so the person who is providing financially, and if there is in this situation a situation where the man is actually providing everything for you guys from a financial standpoint, that is a huge burden that he is taking on.
Of course.
And I think that in that case, how you communicate with somebody who's in that space needs to be in a way that isn't super confrontational, and you have to figure out the proper way to communicate. Because if I'm sitting here working and paying for everything, and then I come home and it's just nag as soon as I come home, I feel like somebody like that will start to shut you out and be like, yo, I'm doing all this for our family because I am bearing a responsibility. I have a part to play, and I'm playing my part very well, it sounds like. And if I come home and everything that you're laying on me is just a complaint about me and what I'm not doing, then I'm going to shut you out and I'm going to start doing the thing. And sometimes you'll meet men who aren't cheaters, so they won't cheat on you to a certain, like she said, he never physically cheated, right? So he won't cheat on you physically with anybody, because maybe there is some integrity in there. He doesn't feel like that's right to do, but he just will be like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I provide it. I'm paying for the things. I'm making sure my family has the home and whatever that they need. But I can't stand to be in this space right now with you, because every time I'm in it, you're just on me about every single thing. So not saying that there shouldn't be you shouldn't communicate problems or issues, but being more cognizant of, and this is not necessarily man to woman, it's if the woman was in the same position where she's going to work every day and you're at home not doing nothing, or you're at home not financially contributing, when she gets home, like, just piling stuff on her after she spent a whole day at work, you know what I'm saying? Like, making sure that we good, that will shut somebody off. And it's like, either they'll look and be like, well, I need to find somebody who can take the load off with me, or I'll do what I'm supposed to do in this partnership, but fun, all that stuff. Like, I want to go somewhere where I'm not like constantly bombarded by questions and this and that.
Yeah.
So that's just one side of it. Not saying that there isn't the other side of still having to be responsible, still having to be present in your relationship, still having to battle through things. That's another thing. But there is that side of it to where somebody can like drag you down after you've already been, you know, pulling a lot to try to.
Absolutely. But see, this is why I say it's a dangerous slope, right? Because if I am in a relationship with, you know, with someone and they are doing all of the financial lifting and they are the provider, which I really hope that we really just somehow normalize understanding that providing is more than money, right? Providing is more than going to work and paying the bills. That is a tangible means of providing that is valuable. That is, listen, I'll be clear, I will take it happily, okay? So I don't want nobody to get that twisted. But that's not the only way. You're not a provider if that's the only thing you provide to your household. That you provide financial support, but I wouldn't call you a provider if that's all you contribute. But when you say like, oh, if I do all of that and you're at home, like just taking care of the home or doing whatever it is you do at home, you expect, I guess, more grace or more like less nagging because I do all of that. But then what about the man who is not the full-on financial provider? Are we now making room to say, well, he deserves his ass to be bust a little bit when he get in the house? I mean, he only paying 50% of the bills. He doesn't deserve to be nagged either if he's doing what he's supposed to do. That's the design of the partnership, that he pays 50, you pay 50, he pays 60, you pay 40, whatever it is. No one deserves to be browbeaten or dumped on after a very long day at work, whether you are paying all the bills or half of them or 25% of them. I think that's why I say it gets tricky, because then you start designing what you deal with and what you don't deal with, or how you talk to a person, or how you don't talk to them. You base it all on what money's coming into the house. And so if the money dynamics start to change and then the activity towards me starts to change, like now I'm getting broke. Let's say something happens to me, I lose my job. Now you feel like, well, shit, you ain't got no money. I talk to you crazy. Get your broke ass.
No, I think it's
wash these dishes, sir.
I think it's just a natural dynamic of people. Yeah. Like logically, you know, it may not make sense, but the dynamic is if I'm working and you're not working, and when I get home, if I'm taking care of everything financially and I get home and you're nagging me as soon as I get in, I'm gonna feel some type of way, and it's gonna, because I feel like I'm pulling a lot of the weight that's supporting us and where we are. If we both leave to go to work every day and we come back home and you're discussing with me things about the household and stuff like that, it's gonna feel and seem and be taken differently if you weren't doing anything. We're both contributing, and it sounds bad to say like you both have a say to a certain extent, but human nature, that's just how it feels. And I feel like it's not just a man-woman thing. If a woman was in the opposite position, you would feel the same way. And I know that too, because I'm not that type of person. I'm the type of person, like when I met Bree, you have student loans, like those are our student loans. Like these, like I've always been about partnership. I'm always about partnership. I don't believe in separate accounts. Like as far as like building things, like you have your own private money, buy gifts, do whatever. But like when we're building together, we're doing everything together, pulling everything together. But in the beginning of our relationship, when I was taking care of Bree to a certain extent while she was trying to figure life out, I did have to have a talk with her because she wasn't in a great financial position. I told her to move in with me. I paid the rent. I paid for the food. I paid everything. And I'm like, I don't think there's any reason I should come home and like the place is a mess. Like, because there has to be a contribution in some way. Like if I'm paying for everything and I'm supplying a roof over our head and I'm working, going to work every day and you're not working, but then I come home every day and the place that's our home is a mess. Like, no, you should clean, and vice versa. If you were in the same situation, you shouldn't come home to a place that's messy. It's like, or if that's just a big case of it. But even if it's like, yo, you know, you've been home for 2 days, I was on vacation, why isn't the trash taken out? You were here for 2 days. You should take the trash out. The dishes should be clean. I just think that balance is,
and I feel like those to me those are the mechanics of the relationship. And I agree. Like how you actually run the household, those are the operations of the relationship. Agreed. That's a decision that you have to talk about and come to together. Who's paying the bills? Who's heavy lifting paying the bills? Who's heavy lifting managing the household, cleaning, cooking, blah, 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 blah. But not, that's its own thing in my mind. The emotional and communication around what you are doing that I don't like, what you are doing that I do like, how we speak to one another, that's in its own category. So just because you don't pay all of the bills, I don't ever want anyone to feel like that gives you means to talk to me crazy or not be cognizant about how you approach conversations with me because you only pay half of the bills. There's no room for that. Like, you should be in a partnership with someone that you are constantly thinking about how to approach this conversation with them.
I just feel like it's human nature. Well, not that it's not about money. It's about balance, and we have these things that we need taken care of.
Yes.
Who's taking care of what, and that there should be somewhat of a balance to that. If I'm taking care of things financially, and that's why the whole gender roles thing was created, because a lot of times men, even legally, were more allowed to earn more and go to work and go to school to get an education and all these different things. So therefore they brought in more money.
Yes.
So if I am making money, then doing things around the house, whether that is raising the kids, whether that is cooking, that was the equal balance in those situations. Yes. So that's where those gender norms were really established.
Yes.
But now in 2022, when things are different and women are very capable of working and being high income earners, like, it's not necessarily about who makes more money. It's just that balance. If you are making a lot of money in our household, these are the different things we need to do. We talked about it in another episode. We need to eat every day. We need to make sure the house is clean. We need to make sure that the lawn is mowed. We need to get groceries. We need to do all these responsibilities. If I'm at work from 9 to 5, and let's say you work 4-day 12-hour schedule, so you have extra 3 days off when I have to work 9 to 5 every day, or maybe stay a little extra, you will have more days off. So getting groceries may be your responsibility. And it's not about who financially makes more. It's just about, if I'm taking care of this, somebody has to take care of this, and that's the balance. The issue is when somebody's taking care of this and then they have to go on and do this too.
Absolutely.
And that's when people are like, yo, like, this is crazy. Like, why do I have to
do all of this,
work, then take care of the kids, then put them to bed, then do this and do
what you in here doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Yes.
It's okay if I make more money, but you're taking care of the other things, because I know what you're doing. I understand the value in what you're doing. But when I don't see what you're doing, and I know what I'm doing, but I don't see what the heck you doing, that's when issues occur.
Like, we 100% agree on that thing 100% of the way. In this scenario, though, Anonymous is being fully financially kept, and it almost is like a thing of, she feels emotionally detached and emotionally and physically neglected by her partner, and it is potentially a situation where, because she is financially kept, she's like, well, I've brought these things up, or maybe I don't feel comfortable because he takes care of everything, so maybe I shouldn't be feeling a way about him being on his phone all the time. And then there's this misconception that, like, okay, well, he is the breadwinner and maybe he just needs that. And it's like, okay, cool, but how much of that do you need? How much am I supposed to let you neglect me emotionally and physically because you pay the bills? How far am I supposed to let that go on? How much money do you get to pour into this household for me to be like, all right, stop right there, because if you go any further, then I can't tell you how I'm feeling.
So, question for you. This may be a weird question. I was going to ask, what does freedom mean to you? That is a very
broad question.
But I'm just going to ask it. What does freedom mean to you?
Within the romantic space, or just in general?
Just in general, like, what does freedom mean to you? Like, what do you think freedom truly is?
I mean, I'm not restricted by much of anything. Like, there are rules around everything, but for the most part, I feel like I can make decisions and I can choose things without restriction. There's not some sort of heavy governing situation that says you cannot do this. I'm not bound by my feet or my hands. I'm free to move about the cabin, whatever that looks like. So I think that's a kind of generic idea of freedom.
So do you feel like that's an important thing to have in every, or I guess to strive for in every part of your life to a certain extent, like whether that's career, relationships, almost like an independence or freedom from having to be.
No, I mean, I wouldn't say it's something that you should strive for in every situation, because every situation is different. Some things you need to be bound to a person or a situation in order for it to be most successful. Using an example, like if we were playing a game of tug of war, if I decided that, oh, I'm so free and I'm so independent that team over there is 4 of them pulling the rope, but I got this because I'm free. I can do this without a team. Well, that would be foolish. I actually need to be bound to them. I need to be connected to a team in order for me to have a fighting chance to win this. So no, I don't think that works for every single situation. It's like an employer. If you work for someone, people say that's not full freedom. Okay, cool. But that may be what I need to do to put food on my table, to have insurance and different things for myself or my family. And so I think depending on the scenario, I think you do need to have an attachment to something that doesn't feel like the opposite of freedom, which I would think is like bondage. I don't know what the exact opposite of freedom is, but just something where you are happily joined in a situation in order for it to be most successful. So I see that like in relationships and romantic relationships. They're better if you're going to have one, and a good one, and a happy, healthy one. It's better when you actually work together versus I'm free within this situation. Yes, technically I am. I shouldn't feel like I'm here with a gun to my head. And I should feel like my life is better with you in it. Not, I don't care if you're here or not. Yeah, so I think it depends on the scenario.
Got you. Okay. You answered my question.
Okay.
I could tell you like where I was going with it.
Okay.
So first, freedom, I think for me is freedom is all based on your alignment with the rules that are in place. Mm-hmm. That's all based off of how free you actually feel. Mm-hmm. If none of us feel like not being able to kill somebody is a restriction. Right. Because we don't want to kill nobody. So we don't feel shackled or restricted by that. But if you were somebody who wanted to kill somebody, you may think that that's restrictive. Yeah. Or like if I wanted to hire a 6-year-old to work at my business and the mom said it was good, the kid said they wanted to work and I'm willing to pay them, I think child labor laws are restrictive. Like you're impeding on my freedom to be able to. But if I'm aligned with the laws, I don't care. Like I don't think kids that age should work. So I don't feel restricted by that. So your cage of freedom or not freedom is based off of your alignment with the rules. So I say that to say is that when it comes to business, even career wise or in relationships, the true freedom is that like, let's say somebody says something disrespectful to you at your job, being like, I'm not working here no more. Mm-hmm. Like that's freedom because it's like, I got disrespected. I don't like the environment. I don't need this. I'm gone. Yeah. But a lot of us, let's say in career aspects, aren't free. We have debt. We have bills. So we're not truly free because some of us will have to stay there because if we don't stay there, there's no way we could pay our bills or move on with life. We're stuck. Yeah. So in a relationship standpoint, it could be a little bit more challenging, but that's the first thing I thought of is just are you truly free in your relationship? If you're unhappy, if the person isn't giving you attention, if the person isn't doing something for you or doing something that you need, but you're hesitant to be able to leave because you can't not necessarily say survive, but get along without this person being here. So are you truly... You're not truly like free to make the best decision for you or make the best decision for, your own mental health. Cause didn't she say that she didn't feel this way like prior to the situation? Yeah. So it's like you're sacrificing one thing for another. Yeah.
You're literally sacrificing yourself
and your being for stability,
for your marriage, but for financial stability.
And that's the thing that gets me to is at the end of this, she says that he takes care of us financially. Our future seems great. But it's like the whole paragraph you described me does not sound like your future is great.
Yeah, but I think because she put that in the same sentence with financially,
that's means what she's attaching that to.
The financial future looks great. Maybe he's doing things that is like setting up the family for a beautiful life financially.
And I feel like she says she's 40, right?
They're both in their 40s.
They're both in their 40s. And I think that's definitely an older mindset. It's like that. American dream, good, like we financially got married, got the house, things are taken care of. And as long as we're financially good and maybe y'all have stuff put away for retirement and y'all have these trips that y'all can do. And like on paper, it seems like this would be the ideal situation that somebody would want to be in. And because financial things play such a huge part in our lives, we see that as kind of almost being sometimes the most important thing. As long as that thing is good, then we'll figure out how to navigate the others.
Everything else, yeah.
But it's like, from what I'm hearing you describe and reading, it doesn't seem like there is much of a future for you two.
Not unless your future
as partners, like intimately.
Not unless you plan for your future to literally only be rooted in you not having to financially do much of anything.
Exactly.
I don't understand. And this theme has come up like so much, like in personal conversations, in things that I've watched, things that I've just seen, like memes of like this thing where so many people are literally like choosing bad situations day in and day out, like over and over and over again. Like the writing is on the wall. It's on all the walls. It's on the walls in the bathroom, in the living room, in the kitchen, in the car. Everything about it says this is not good for you. This woman is saying she feels lonely, sad, ugly at times, rejected, depressed, anxiety. You were in therapy. You did not feel like this before you married your husband. You said you did not feel like this before you married your husband. I don't know what else exactly you need to feel before you feel like I got to get the fuck away from this. Like, I don't know what else you need to feel. Like how much of you has to be chipped away before you decide like, okay, I've had enough. Because you're going to go so far if you don't make a radical decision to and you know, we made an agreement doing Real Love Scenario that when married people would write in, we would never say you should get divorced because it's such a heavy decision. And so be clear, I can't tell you should get divorced. But what I can tell you is that you are in a dangerous situation based on how you wrote it, to the point where you're unrecognizable to yourself. And you might not even ever have a chance to leave this marriage if you don't wake up. You may not ever get that opportunity. In 20 years from now, if you don't think you know yourself now, you definitely won't know yourself in 20 years. I assume that they're children because she speaks of family in this dynamic, that it's no way that you are lonely, sad, depressed, have anxiety, and the babies don't notice it. It's no way. You're literally going to therapy for it. It's just no way. I don't understand it. Like, I get being in a situation that you really want to work and really just trying your hardest to make it work because your vows said, for better or for worse, till death do us part. Sometimes, and this is going to sound crazy, and yep, y'all might drag me. It's all right. I'm totally okay with this.
Let's see.
But, and this is as an unmarried woman who certainly desires marriage. To me, some of y'all take them vows way too far. Y'all really, really do. I agree. I pray to God that when I say that, I'm in it for the haul, that days are going to get tough, times are going to get hard. But if I am describing my marriage in this way for a consistent amount of time, the Lord is going to have to, we going to have to work it out. God, I couldn't do it. I could not do that till I died. I couldn't do that until I died. That worst was too worse for me. That was too hard. I'm in here with a man who knows my love language is touch, but he don't touch me. Not only does he not touch me, he doesn't even have sex with me. He's on his phone. Maybe it's not every second of the day, but it's enough for me to notice that you ain't paying me no attention. I am, again, not myself anymore. I'm sorry, but I can't live the one life that I got staying in a situation that is making me this way. I can't do that. So maybe I'm not made for marriage. That might be possible. Only God will know. But I think it's ridiculous that so many people, even pre-marriage, they deal with stuff like this. Like, I can stomach it a little bit more when you actually are married, that you really are trying because you took your vows seriously. But at what point, and I think that's bringing me to my question to you, because you said it very clear and I admire it, that like, yo, the only way out of this marriage is death. That's how I see my marriage. But realistically, like, when is enough enough? Like, yes, there are hard things like abuse. No, you know, you like,
Yeah.
you getting beat up, like leave, right? But how much is too much?
I think that for me, it's only way out is death for me with my wife and with Bree. Now, I think somebody can change it to a completely different person than what you knew them to be.
Yes.
And I think the borderline thing is that as long as both people are fighting for it, then I think there's always hope. The moment that one person checks out and is not fighting for it anymore, then that's the time to where you just got to give it up, because it's never going to work with just one person fighting, one person in it, one person trying to make it work or trying to, get things started. It's just never going to happen. So I'm hoping that's not the case in this situation. But if you are talking to somebody and you're trying to tell them and communicate them what you need from them, and they're not responding to that, if you say, I feel like, so there's a thing that I tell people when you're in situations like this where you feel like you're at the end. If you're in a situation to where whoever comes to you, whether it's the partner, your wife, your husband, comes to you and says, I feel like we're at a point to where I don't really know what to do. I really want to go to therapy. If that person is like, no, then that's a huge red flag on the way to maybe this situation this thing isn't going to work out. Because if I'm telling you that I don't feel like we are equipped to handle this together, I want to try to find some outside help so that we can restore this or whatever we're doing, and you're telling me no, then that's already letting me know where your head is at, because it's not even about you. I'm telling you, I need this. Like, I need this. Like, I booked counseling sessions because Bree told me she needed it for us. Yeah. Not that I felt like we needed it. I felt like we could work out the problems. I felt like the issues weren't as big as she was making it seem. But she told me that she needed it. Yeah. What I do, I booked it. Because if you telling me you feel like you need it, I'm doing everything I can to make sure that we're good and we're on the same page and we can make things work.
Because if she gets what she needs, you get what you need. Exactly. She gets what she needs, you get what you need. It's a cycle. It's supposed to be cyclical. It's supposed to be like that.
But if it's in a situation, so I don't know if this is a situation, but it seems like if you're writing in and you've gone through this whole time period that you've communicated to him multiple times how you feel, what you want. I hope you have. And if that's the case and he's still not responding.
And I think she did, because she said he told her there are things that she could do. And she says, I've been doing them. And then things go good and then they don't. Then we just regress. We regress back to it just not being good. So it seems like it has been communicated. She didn't talk about therapy together. So I agree with you on that. That like maybe that's something you should bring up. Like, hey, maybe we should do this together. She's going to therapy on her own, but maybe your husband needs to be asked to go and see what he thinks, if he's open to it.
Yeah, and I think that I
hope so.
I want to talk about this too, because I think it's a big part of this is comfortability, like setting an environment of comfortability in your relationship. I feel like that happens a lot with women who sometimes deal with dudes who get comfortable. And sometimes it happens with women too, guys. When you just get comfortable in the relationship and you're comfortable doing the bare minimum, that you realize the threats that the person make aren't necessarily going to be followed.
Totally empty.
Yeah, they're totally empty threats. So you're just kind of coasting and you're cool and you're okay with it not being great, but it being like cool. And I feel like I see that a lot. Yeah. Me too. Yeah, what's your thoughts on that, or what contributes to that, and have you had any experience with that?
Yes, I've had experience with that. And I think it's in another really fully transparent moment about the fears of getting married, the fears of getting in a long-term partnership. That is one of my greatest fears. Like, that I will marry someone who, and again, going back to, I don't expect no fairy tale perfect relationship. Of course not. Like, it's going to be plenty of times where this ain't going to be as magical as it was the first week I met you. But I'm very scared of getting married and then looking up in 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 years and being like, damn, we just here. We're just here. You're just in this house. I'm just in this house, and we're just coasting. We're so comfortable that everything's running on this very monotonous bullshit schedule of, hey, good morning. All right, see you later. Have a good day. Yep, blah, blah, blah. Come back in the house. What you want to eat? All right, dinner on the table. All right, good night. Yep, you putting the kids in the tub. Yep, I'll get them ready for bed. Good night. And you just keep doing that. I do not want that marriage at all. I do not want my partner to just give up into some degree, and it's like we're just here and you have no fear of this not being a thing. And I think healthy fear is a good thing. I learned that as a child. You learn that if you're spiritual, we
protects you.
Absolutely. Something should keep your feet to the fire. I don't ever want my person, because I don't ever want to be in a marriage where I think that my husband won't leave, I think that my husband won't walk out of my life because I'm not being the wife that he wants me to be, because I just think he here. I got him. I'm married to him. He ain't going no damn where. I don't got to do nothing. All he care about is a little food on the table. It's like those check-ins and those, how are you feeling about our relationship, or just trying to keep as much fun and joy in the relationship as much as possible. Because yes, when you have kids, you do have a schedule. Life does get regimented to some point, but that doesn't mean our interactions have to be scripted and forced and weird. So yes, that scares me. As much as I feel like I want lifelong partnership, I'm also very scared to get in a marriage and look at some of the people that I know that have been married for 20 years and they're just like the old ball and chain. Like, we just here. I hate it. I don't want that. And so sometimes I'm like, sometimes the single life and the newness of meeting new people is actually fun, but you get tired of that. You get tired of that too. But I don't want it. Hate it.
Yeah, I think that's a good point that you made. I like that. That you should never be in a relationship to where you don't think your partner could leave.
Yeah.
Like, you need to have that healthy fear, because if you truly believe that no matter what you do, your partner will always be there, then you are liable to do anything sometimes.
Yeah.
Because there's no fear that they're ever going to go anywhere.
Right. And I mean, leave off of like just me making bad decisions or having bad behavior, but also like when you really think about it, like death. Like, I don't want, whenever we leave this earth as husband and wife, I don't want that last day for you or for me to have been just like a shitty day, and the last 10 been like that, and the last 365 have been like that, and the last 800 have been like that you really didn't have a happy marriage. Like, this is a choice. You do not have to marry anyone. It's not a requirement in life.
Very true.
Why would you choose it and then subsequently stay in something that is just not enhancing your life? Like, it sounds very simple when you say it, like if using, which I love that you do, you use metaphors a lot or put it in something a lot more simpler. Like, you know that green looks really bad on you. So it's a horrible color for you. Never makes anything look good on you. But you go out and you buy this green dress and you wear it and you hate it. Every time you look at yourself in the mirror, you're like, oh my God, I look terrible. This dress is so ridiculous. Who are you mad at? You bought it. You know the green don't look good on you. Why would you even do that? Why would you do it? It was silly. So it's the same thing with relationships. I can't understand it for the life of me, why sometimes we run towards things that we know really harm us, or we stay inside of things that really, really harm us. Like, to me, it's so stupid. And I hate to say it, because of course I've been there. I've stayed in situations longer than I should have. When I say, I posted like earlier this week, like, I declare that I am no longer choosing things that do not enhance my life. That is foolish to say, hey, come on over here and ruin shit for me. Come on over here and waste my time and not treat me nicely. That's exactly what I'm looking for, to just have my steam plucked at and, just have really sad days where I cry all day because, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And that's what I want in my life. That's crazy. It's crazy. Even within marriage, it's crazy. So I don't know. Like, do you ever, and you're newly married, but in a relationship for a long time. And I always say this, I love you guys. And I know that you have a real sense of marriage, like what really marriage is all about. But do you ever fear that, like 20 years from now, damn, we just gonna be in here like it's nothing like the first 2 years?
Bree maybe fears it more than I do.
Okay.
I don't I don't really fear that being a thing, and maybe that's just because I'm in it now. But I do think that there are so many, like, life can seem long to a certain extent, but it moves fairly quickly, and there are so many different aspects of life that we have not explored yet, that I think that always having something that's fairly new keeps the marriage fresh. So it's like Brie and I haven't bought a house yet. Brie and I haven't had kids yet. Brie and I haven't seen a kid graduate from high school. Brie and I haven't seen a kid go to college. Like, there's so many things throughout life that you're able to have some type of freshness with. Then you have grandkids, and that's a new journey that you're going on, and then trying to figure out where to retire. Like, there's so many different aspects that I feel like as long as you guys are focused on each other and trying to, you know, make each other happy, that there's ways to continue to evolve and grow and have fun within the relationship. So I don't necessarily fear like a stagnant, you know, like just a stagnant part of our relationship in 20 years. But I think one of the biggest parts, but the reasons that is what we had talked about earlier, going back to the scenario, is I think that it's important when people are in relationships. Like, I want people to separate like the financial part of a relationship, or separate finances from the relationship, separate career from a relationship, and understand all these things, although they impact a relationship, they aren't the relationship. Like, the finance could buy a trip to Greece, but once you're on the trip together, it's just you and that person. So that relationship has to be a good relationship. Money can get you a big house, but once you're in that big house, it's the relationship and that bond with the relationship that's going to make that house truly feel like a home and truly be a great place to be. Somebody can have a great career that can give them access to things and things like that, but once you're in those rooms and once you're in those places, it's just you two. So it's like, I think for Brie and I, what I love about us is that we have our careers and we have our money and stuff like that, but our relationship is something that we continue to work on and something that we focus on. So even outside of whether it's a lot of money or a little money, or careers, things are going great or not going great, we still know that we love each other, and we can say, wherever you are, that's where home is. Because it's not about what place we're actually in physically, it's about our relationship and us being together. So I feel like as long as that's the focus, you'll be good. But when your mind starts going to all these other different things, then it's hard to, you know, to keep it
you've
fresh.
You've made your relationship about all the things, and you've not made your relationship about the two people, about taking care of each other. Because and I think, like, when I've said before, you know, I always feel like I have to super clarify when I say I'm not just trying to be with someone for money. And then there's people that think I'm crazy, like, so he can make $5 and you wouldn't care. Of course not, right? He has to make more than $5, you know. Or if I say I'd want someone who makes good money and can take care of themselves, like, oh, you just want somebody for their money. Absolutely not. But every time I am saying that, it is saying exactly what you just said. I want someone who I enjoy, separate from all of the things that they tangibly have, like their career, like their money, like their car, like their dog or their kids. All of those things are extensions of that person. I really want to be able to like and love this person. If they had nothing, would I actually like them? Could I live in a cardboard box with this man? Could I? I need to be with that guy. I need to be with the man that I can live in a mansion with and on the street with. I need to be with the man that I would rather be at home arguing with you today than to be outside of this house having fun with somebody else. Because that's how much I love you, appreciate you, like you, and sincerely enjoy you. It's like that lyric where Jay-Z, it's kind of like I feel like it's a little bit of a dig to Kanye being mad that he didn't come to his wedding. And most of us know that is the time that him and Beyonce were having challenges in their marriage. And he was very much like, hey, your wedding is not significant enough for me to walk out to come to when me and my wife,
Even if it's for 48 hours.
it can't do it. Just a tough time right now. And he said, even if my house is on fire, I'm not leaving it. And that means, like, if things are wrong in here, I would rather it be wrong in here with you because I value you that much. So of course that doesn't mean take and deal with anything, but that's the relationship that I want. That's the person that I want. I will walk through mud with you and on gold grounds with you. I will go to the moon with you. I ain't gonna go to hell with you, but we can go through some challenging things together. I have to love you separate from all the things that you come into this relationship with: money, dogs, mama, key. I have to just really, really want you. So that is the key right there. That is exactly what I want. And I feel like when you find your person like that, it would be very hard for that not to be a successful marriage. And I think so many people don't find that person. You married the person that just was around at the time. You married the person because you got them pregnant, or you married the person because your mom thought that they were cool. You married the person because, well, you were together for 4 or 5 years in high school. Although you knew this is not it. Like, this person ain't doing it for me. You're just checking off boxes. So I say in my prayers, like, God, you know the desires of my heart. You know what I want, but more importantly, you know what I need. You know what I need. If I have to wait, just make him the one that I need. Make him the one that I want, but also make him the one that I need. I'll wait 10 more years for that. I'll wait 15 more years for that.
Yeah.
I don't want to, but I will, because it will be more than worth the wait.
Yeah.
It'll be more than worth it. So that's it for me. So this saddens me. Like, when I first read this, like, not reading it on air, like, it really made me sad that she's like, you're in a marriage and you feel lonely, sad, depressed, ugly, rejected by the one person who, that's probably the only attention you actually care about.
Yeah.
That's the attention I care about. The hell with the rest of y'all think about me. What I think about me matters, number one.
Yeah.
And then second to me is the person that I married. If he said I'm cute, it's not really nothing y'all can say. If he say I'm sexy, child, I'm sexy. I cannot imagine being in a house with a person who rejects me and makes me feel unloved or not beautiful. Couldn't imagine it. Marriage or no marriage, I would have to choose to walk away. I would fight for it, but I think and we haven't even touched on the infidelity, where he didn't physically cheat, but you talking to other people and you recording videos of yourself doing sexual or explicit things and you sending it to other people. So you just, it's too much of you being chipped away in this situation. So I don't get it. I get the money is nice because you ain't having to pay for nothing, but is it worth your soul? Is it worth everything? Is it worth your mind? Is it worth your integrity and your respect? You can't buy those things.
Yeah.
Not from me.
And I want to, that was great, by the way.
Thanks.
And I want to, when you ask me, just kind of revisit when you ask me, like, do I think that would be a thing for Brie and I in 20 years or 30 years? And what do I feel like it takes to not have to be, at a level to where you're stagnant or, get too comfortable. And I always say this, and I've said it multiple times on this show, is that a relationship is not two halves coming together, but two wholes growing together.
Yeah.
And I say that a lot because, number one, it's about being a whole individual when you come into a relationship and growing and not being half to where you're codependent on somebody to be able to live your life and be in your relationship, because that's not healthy. But also, I feel like a lot of times people fail to project out their relationships and think, all right, this person is cool now, but what would this person look like as a father? What would this person look like if we were in a cardboard? What would this person look like if we were in a mansion? Like, thinking about the different scenarios and project out what their relationship could look like in different scenarios and different things. Because again, this is not somebody that you're going to just sit with. This is somebody that you have to grow with. And there will be multiple things that happen throughout that relationship and throughout life, different things that could be thrown at you to where you need to try to get an idea of, if these different things come, can I still move forward with this person? And is this somebody I feel comfortable, or do they seem like they're somebody who can withstand certain things, or that they could, be okay with certain things or move forward with certain things. And I feel like a lot of people don't do that. Now, in this situation, I don't know if that's the case. This is her second marriage, it seems like.
Both of their second
marriages. So they've kind of been through it. And I know that sometimes when people have been previously married, they feel like they have a better idea for what they want. But I feel like sometimes it can be a disheartening process to where it's like after the first marriage, you realize the things that you didn't value and the things you didn't want. And then sometimes, or a lot of times when there are issues, and we see this in society today, whether that is with Black people or women or LGBTQIA plus yes. community, is that when you neglect a certain community or certain thing for so long, when the opportunity does happen or come for that person or community or that for that thing to actually get some shine, it's almost like a over compensation for it, for all of the oppression that was suffered before. So I say to say is sometimes when people get divorced, they may have been in a situation for so long that something was such an issue. Maybe with her situation, not saying that it is, her last husband wasn't financially stable, and that was just a huge issue with her, and it caused so many problems in their relationship that now what she values is kind of different. It's like now she may value the person with stability and money, because it's like, well, I've been on the other side to where the person, we had fun and stuff like that, but I couldn't count on him. He wasn't responsible. He didn't take care of the things he said he was going to take care of, and I saw how my life was in that situation. At least for better or for worse, he's taking care of
taking care of the bills.
He's taking care of everything. If I need something, I can go get it. But you know, I get that mindset, like, and that's a natural human emotion and feeling and reaction. And I'm not saying, as Rhonda said, you live a fairy tale life to where you think you can have everything. But I talked about it also on this thing of the analogy of like, if somebody wants to get a good grade in your class, the first thing that they can do and have to do is show up to class.
That's it.
They can struggle in the class. They can show that, you know, they're trying to get it down, but they, you know, aren't necessarily getting it. But as long as they're showing up every day, that's at least the bare minimum. So in your relationship, I'm not saying it has to be a fairy tale, but the bare minimum is that you need to at least show up and give me time and effort and quality and be present. That's the bare minimum. How well you do that, people can recognize effort. Like, that's the thing I don't think people understand relationships is like, it's not all or nothing, or you have to be perfect. People recognize effort. Somebody can see my person isn't getting it down all the way, but they're trying. I can see them trying. I can see them. I don't even like them flowers, but they tried. They bought the flowers. They were trying to do something sweet. I don't even eat that restaurant. Or, you know, I don't wear that size. Or this thing they bought me is ugly. I don't like it. The scent stinks. Like, but I can see the effort. And people recognize that effort. So even in the situation, Mr. Anonymous is like, I feel like the situation would be completely different if he did like do things like touch her or give her a massage, and she may feel like the massage don't even feel good, but she want the physical touch, or and then you're trying to at that point molding to be like, all right, this is how I would rather you do this, or this is how I would like for you to do this. But I can sense the effort that you're trying to put in. The issues come when there is no effort. And I don't want people to think that it's getting it right or nothing. It's okay to get it wrong sometimes with the effort, because that means something to the person. A lot of times it's the act to show like that you're trying and that you're doing something. It's not necessarily you're nailing it every time, which none of us are going to do. Newsflash, we're not always going to nail it or get it right every time. But if you show me that if you're putting forth the effort, that translates to showing me that you care, and that translates to showing me that you hear me when I'm speaking.
That's it.
And then that is a whole nother realm of communication that opens up for your relationship. And what you'll understand is that if you show effort in a relationship, you'll tend to get more grace from the person when it comes to certain things, because they'll be not as harsh, because it's like, hey, they're trying. Like,
I mean, I think it's something on a super small scale. In my last relationship where we lived together, he worked from home, and a lot of times he was a project manager for the government at one point in our relationship, and he would have meetings at all different times of the day because his clients were all over the world. And so there would be times where when I left for work that morning, he's working his normal 9 to 5. And I come home, cooking dinner or doing whatever, and he is maybe out for an hour or so to talk to me or do whatever, but then he's got to go back in and be in there for hours and hours and hours. And then and that would happen sometimes constantly for days on end, every so often. One thing that he would always do that I really appreciated, because he, of course, just is thinking, like, I don't want her to think that I'm not here. Like, I know he physically in the house, but if you over there is trapped in meetings, you're kind of not here.
Yeah.
He would, if he had a second, sometimes he would be on a call. He would mute that call while somebody else is talking, just pop in the bedroom and kiss me on my forehead. Or just come in and be like, you look so pretty. Those little things meant so much to me. They were so small, but it was just so that I knew, although he has now been working for 14 hours, 16 hours, 18 hours, he still is like, my lady is here. My woman is in this house, and I don't want her to think that I ain't thinking about her. I don't care about her. Would I have rather him been in the bed and us watching a movie or doing whatever? Yes, but we did that too. But if you just get so caught up in what you have going on that you can't even take a second, like, I'm very affectionate and touchy. So if I'm locked in on something and I haven't I know you're in here, but I'm doing a podcast, I'm doing whatever.
Yeah.
And I get an opportunity to just come out there and just like kiss you on your forehead or just touch your arm or say something to you. That little stuff says, although I'm crazy busy, you are still my priority. You are still who I care about. I still see you. I'm locked in, but I still see you. I think about like famous people, like Dr. Phil, whose wife would infamously, we know, famously sit in the audience of every single show. And when he would end that show, he will walk off that stage the exact same way. Off the stage to the audience, and he got his wife and they walked in the back. That is something it's not just for, I think it's not just for pomp and circumstance. It's to make sure that his wife knows that I see you, I care about you, and I want you here every day. I do. I want you here as often as I can have you here. Those little things just go such a long way. Going back to Barack and Michelle, there was almost, you could probably count how few times Barack didn't try to make sure that y'all know it's her.
Yeah.
I love her.
Sure.
She the one. She's doing all the, y'all see Michelle? Y'all see my wife? Look at because of course he knows, like, yes, I really do feel this way about her, but this is hard for her. And I want to make sure that y'all clap it up for my wife, that y'all acknowledge her, that she's in this room. It's not just about me. It's about us. People get so caught up in their relationships or what they're doing as individuals, which is important. You got to serve and fill your own cup.
Yeah.
But your person is still there. They still exist. And those very small things, whether they ugly, I don't really like it. I do want you to get that stuff right. Okay. Don't keep buying me ugly sweaters. I don't want them. Okay. Figure out the ones I like. But it is the effort. It's those little teeny things. It's that in the middle of the day, sending me money for lunch. It's $20, babe. I thought about you. I know we haven't been able to have dinner all week because I've been tied up on these projects at work. You know, I'm going to sit there and eat that $20 sandwich or that lunch like, my baby loved me. He sent me lunch money today. He's so sweet. Yes. Check in. Stay locked in. Stay locked into your relationship as much as you possibly can.
Yeah, because when people are communicating things to you in that relationship, in your relationship, I think the thing that people want the most is to know that they're being heard.
And being seen.
It's like, I just want to know that you hear me. I think things escalate because somebody may come back with may hit somebody with a comeback. And in the way they responded, the person is like, I don't think you understand where I'm coming from. I don't think you hear me. Because I feel like if you hear me, there wouldn't be a rebuttal to this.
Right.
Like, it would just be like, okay, I hear you. You know, I didn't mean to make you feel that way. If something that I did, then I'll look at my actions and see if there's something I could do better. Because like I always say, it's not about being right. It's just about keeping the peace and just having a great relationship.
Yeah.
It's not if I did something to hurt you, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, baby.
I'm sorry.
That's it.
And that's the thing that I don't get, because it's like, if you love somebody, you don't mean to hurt them. If you love somebody, you don't ever mean to hurt them. So the person that you love tells you that something that you did hurt them, the only response should be, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. I didn't realize the thing that I did was hurtful, or it's not a thing to where you're trying to tell them that their feelings aren't right, because their feelings can't be wrong. Their feelings.
Yeah.
Now, how they got to the feelings may not be the most healthiest thinking or stuff like that, but them feeling the way they feel, that's just their feelings.
That's just their, yep.
And that's the person that you love, and that's the person that you're with. So if they tell you that something that you did made them feel a certain way, or made them feel uncomfortable, or made them feel not loved, then if you love them, it's like, all right, I love this person. I'm in a relationship with this person. How do I adjust and figure out a way to change it, or, you know, improve it, or to do better? Not because this is something that everybody else in the world requires. It's because the person that I love requires this from me, and says that they need it from me. So therefore, because I love them and I'm with them, then I'll make the adjustment for them because I love them, not for everybody else. If some random girl walking down the street is like, why don't you do this? I'm not with you, so I don't gotta change or adjust. But if the person I love is telling me they need something, I don't feel like I need to put up a huge argument with it. It's just, okay, I understand that. And it may be sometimes like, I don't know if I could do that right now because of this, or I'll figure out a way, but it's communicating more in a way of love versus like getting super defensive about it. And then you get into your spats.
The goal is to solve it.
Yes, that's the goal.
Is to solve the
solutions.
Issue. Yes.
We ain't in here trying to argue.
I ain't finna argue with you.
So I think, do you have any last final thoughts for Anonymous here?
I definitely feel like if she has not introduced the idea of them seeking counsel outside of themselves, I definitely think that she should suggest that, and I hope that he'll be open to it. If she has suggested that and it has not worked, I just say, you know, choose yourself, you know, because in order to be a happy, healthy wife, that's you. That's on you. If you are unable to do that because of this relationship, then how can you stay in it? Like, I don't actually know. It sounds very sad. I'm not telling you to get divorced, but I'm telling you that if this is your life day in and day out, it does not sound like a marriage that I would want to stay in. It just doesn't. Not even for the sake of all my bills are taken care of. Will it be hard for me to go out and take care of myself? I can't empathize with that. I can't relate to that because I've never been in a relationship where someone took care of all of my finances, like literally every single bill. I don't know what that's like. So it wouldn't be hard for me to go out and get my own money because I get my own money. So I don't know. I'm sure that would be difficult for you, but to stay in a situation where you are not recognizable to yourself, you're only harming yourself. What type of mom are you showing up as? What type of daughter? You're something to a lot of other people than just your husband.
Yeah.
So you got to take care of yourself.
Yes. My last piece of advice is therapy. That's only thing I can suggest, because although what it does sound like is that the relationship is not healthy for you and there's a lot of issues for you and with you in this situation, this is only one side of the story. And not saying that his perspective is the right perspective,
right? It's just,
but he offers a different perspective, and the way that he may be receiving some of the things that you're doing may contribute to the environment that's being set. Like, no matter how bad of situations I've seen, I've never seen a situation, unless it's like something crazy, but even in abusive situations, I've never seen a situation where one person is completely at fault and the other person is completely blameless to a certain extent.
No, of course not.
You know what I'm saying? Is that there are certain things that set an environment or made somebody feel like that was okay to do, or maybe like, it seems like you're open with how you feel and you've expressed that to him, but he may be in a situation where sometimes men struggle with communicating things. Sometimes men sweep things under the rug and they feel like, all right, if I'm taking care of this, I'll be fine. Or some people, if they're getting attacked, some people lash out, some people curl in and they won't say anything.
Yeah.
They'll just, in their actions, they'll distance themselves from you, but they won't actually like verbally say, I'm getting tired of this or whatever. So that's why I think therapy is so important, because if you want to be with this man and you want to stay with this man, and I understand it's your second marriage, you want this to succeed and you want this to be a thing that works out, go to therapy, because I think even more importantly, even for him to hear you, but I think more importantly for you to understand his mindset, and having somebody talk through those things with him, because I think that there is a perspective that's his perspective that you're probably not getting. And maybe there are some things that you can do to help contribute to him turning it around, or why he's so engulfed in this. You don't know. I've seen so many different reasons why. It could be the nagging. It could be your parents may have changed over time. Like these are all different things. It could be that
he pays all the bills and he maybe don't really want to do that.
It's so many different things that it could be, and not saying it's your fault or anything like that, but I think you would gain a lot from being able to really hear his perspective in a way that, you know, like I said, having a neutral party who can maybe translate, because I'm sure he's probably said things if you said things to him, but it's hard to communicate feelings sometimes to people, and understanding your feelings or why you feel a certain way. Because I feel like that's the thing too, that a lot of people think when they're arguing with somebody or having a conversation with somebody, or, you know, arguing or talking to somebody about something that's extreme or vital in a relationship, that they assume the person knows how they feel and knows why they feel that way.
Right.
It's like you'll badger somebody and be like, why'd you do this? Why'd you do this? Or why'd you act like this? And a lot of times the person don't even know why sometimes. It's like, I don't know, I just did it, but I don't know why I did it. So therapy, it would be my suggestion.
Yeah. Yep.
Because I don't want you to have another divorce, and I know, you know, that would suck. So
yeah. For sure. Well, we wish you all the best.
We do.
We really, really do. I would really like an update. I say that and I never get them, y'all. But from you, Anonymous, if you're watching, which I hope you are, keep us posted.
Yes, please do.
We're wishing for the best results for both of you.
No bad advice for you.
No, definitely no bad advice. No bad advice is going to work, child. It is what it is. And for those of you that are going to try to say that Dre and I just don't know because Dre's newly married and, well, I've never been married. I only say this to that. There are plenty of 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50-year marriages that are very happy, that have had their challenges, but they not over there like, yeah, shoot, you saying that now? Wait till you've been married for 20 years. If that's your reaction to what you are hearing, sounds like you've been one of the marriages that I would have no interest in being in anyway. If I gotta wait till the 20-year mark to realize, can't stand you, that ain't what we talking about. We talking about happy, healthy relationships, okay? That's what we talking about.
Show me anything that doesn't have its ups and downs. Career, job, everything. Everything has ups and downs.
But it's supposed to have ups.
Yeah.
And that's what y'all don't realize. It's not supposed to only have downs. It's supposed to have ups and downs. That's how this works, okay? Ups and downs. Ups and downs. More ups than downs. For sure. If you having it all downs, just stop it. No, trash. Thanks for watching, though.
Thanks for watching. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you're still here, make sure you rate us on Apple or Spotify and leave us a review, because obviously you're a fan of what we are doing if you lasted this long. So
follow us on social.
Yeah, follow us on social at Dre Smith,
at Ronnie Cakes,
and at Relationship Restored. And make sure you write into us. Go to relationshiprestored.com, go to the contact us section, and you'll be able to write in your real life scenario for the possibility of it being read on this show.
Period.
We'll see y'all later.